space to share honest opinions that's uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted. So tonight's discussion has actually been stirring up a lot of controversy inside of the hip hop community, and I wanted to touch topic on it. One of the questions, or actually it's been a question that's been around for a while, should rap lyrics be used as evidence in a criminal trial? I am your host, Uno, along with Tasha B and Apex. Unfortunately, tonight we do not have our girl Renee with us right now. If she does join, that would be great. If not, we're good. So here's the story. There is a guy right now that's supposed to be, actually not supposed to be, he's on death row right now. And he's supposed to be executed next month, the ending of next month. And lives here in Texas. And, you know, Texas is a capital murder state, meaning that you're going to die in prison once you get that label, right? So he came from the south side, went up to the north side, and ended up killing two guys. And basically, he got convicted. And what the prosecutor did was the prosecutor used his rap lyrics as justification as to why he should get the death penalty. Even though, and they've been, you know, people like Killer Mike, Fat Joe, Young Thug, and I forgot there's some others that's trying to say that they should not have used his rap lyrics to get him convicted for the death penalty. So the question for me is, his name is James. I think it's Broadnack. Broadnack is how you pronounce it. When he was 20 years old, it was him and two other guys, his cousin and a friend, that went to the north side, which is like a Plano, McKinney, from South Texas, and ended up killing two young dudes, 28 and 26. And one of the reasons that he gave on camera now, he said that he knew that the north side had money, so he wanted to get money that night and end up killing them. So now fast forward, when he was 20, now he's about 38 years old, and he's supposed to have the death penalty next month. And apparently his defense attorney and the state argued that he should get the death penalty based off of the rap lyrics. Now, I don't have access to the rap lyrics and what he wrote, but basically that is what happened. So my question to you all, should it be used as defense to get him the death penalty? Or should it be used for anybody to get the death penalty?
I don't think. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is that if it was solely based upon the rapper lyrics, and I guess there was 40 pages of several albums that they used to use it as an aggravating factor, I don't mind it as an aggravating factor because you have a lot of other factors involved, including his own jailhouse statement that he recorded. And what happens is here's the thing. If you go, you sit there, you go on camera, you make a statement, that's the video statement, forget about the lyrics, and you pretty much convict yourself. And basically from your own statements on that video, you should have got the death penalty just because of that release of that video. If you then use the additional that says, hey, there's no coming back. Not only do you see him in person on video saying that he doesn't care, but there's 40 pages of 10 years before of his life that he didn't really care. I don't mind it. Because as they say, you have the right to remain silent.
That's true, but my thing is, even if he was not on video saying that he did not care in what he did, should they have used it? Even if he wasn't, if he was not on video, should they have used it?
No, like I said, I think you can use it as an additional aggravating factor, and that's what to impeach him. If he didn't go on video and go to the jailhouse and he was young, he was dumb. If they did not have it on video, if he did not make these other statements, and he's trying to say, hey, I'm trying to then no. But I think they use it to impeach his attitude, impeach his mentality. And now that he realized that he's going to be put to death by the death penalty after you shot two kids, and even if you didn't do it, you were there to steal $2. It was $2 that he got. I'm sorry.
$2.
That's all he got. After shooting them, he did not get much money at all. He only went to the north side. Yeah, he only went to the north side because the north side is here in Texas, like McKinney, Plano, Frisco. That is typically our standard. They say that's where the money is. So that's why he went from south side to the north side, because he thought he was going to get some money from these individuals. So Tasha, what are your thoughts when it comes to stuff?
And right before that, just to say, they also gave him the money. So here's the thing: not only did they surrendered it, they were cooperative, and
Well,
that's all they had was
well,
$2, and they
that's
shot him. But
true,
go
but
ahead, Tosh.
still, yeah. So what are you? I'm sorry. What are your thoughts, Tasha, when it comes to
So
that?
I think the law says that whatever you say or do will be used against you. That's email, that's jailhouse calls, that's tap wires, that's whatever evidence they have, they're going to use it against you. So if you're putting it in your songs or that's a part of your record, then it's going to be used against you. And so I think the generational thing here is that, hey, yeah, you're saying this is art, you're saying this is not really real, and things like that, but it is, just like, and I'm just going to do a caveat here, I always do this, but the guy that sung Because I Got High, he was just on trial.
Yes.
And they use his lyrics there, but they were saying, hey, it's freedom of speech, he can say whatever he wants. He's uses his rap lyrics for comedy, he uses for this, he was describing the situations. So it's the same thing. You can't document your crime and then say, oh, you can't use that, I'm just rapping. So I agree.
Well, here's the thing though, on the back. Well, I understand about documenting your crimes, but I think the thing is that because one of the news hosts here brought up, I forgot the country singer's name. His name is Johnny Cash. So apparently Johnny Cash talked about shooting somebody and watching them die, right? And a lot of people are like, well, how can somebody, and this was back in the days, okay? But a lot of people was talking about, well, how can somebody like that sing, you shot somebody and watched them die, and you're not using it against them, but you're using this.
Is Johnny Cash white? Is he white?
Yes,
he's a white guy. Yeah, but here's the thing.
The difference is,
well, hold on. The difference is Johnny Cash never shot and killed anybody, though. From what we know, he never shot and killed anybody versus this guy did. So one of the things, and I'll say this because a lot of the rappers are saying that the rap lyrics often contains fictional storytelling and exaggeration of something. So that's why they're trying to say that his rap lyrics, this particular rap lyrics or rap lyrics in general should not be used because one, yes, it's freedom of speech, but also storytelling because what you rap in your story may not be something that you've done.
Well, what about that David guy? What about the David guy that killed the girl and stuffed her in the car? The guy that he's a young guy that in his lyrics he talked about killing his girlfriend. The girlfriend ends up coming up dead. The black guy, and she was Spanish. His name is David, I think.
Oh no. So here's the point to point. And I think it's there. So I think it's different issues. Okay, and I think it's. And I don't care if you're white, black, or whatever. I think where you're getting at is that if it's something. So, for example, if I go and I post on everything else that I'm a speeder, I'm going to go 100 miles an hour, I drive reckless, okay? I can say it. It doesn't mean I've ever done it. I can blow. So I've done 150 miles an hour if there's no code, if there's nothing that shows to do so. Now, no, I don't roll like you do. But no, if that's the case, if I say if I'm going down Tampa, down I-4, or I'm in Atlanta going down this, and I tell you the area I'm doing it, and I do it, and I get pulled over, I'm doing it. So what I'm saying is that if you're going to speak about it, and if you're a rapper and whatever else, you better keep your nose clean. Unfortunately,
so would it have mattered? So let me ask you this, and this might be a crazy question. So would it have mattered if he wrote the lyrics prior to him committing the crime?
No, he didn't get it. So here's two things about it. I want to go back to one thing. One thing, they wouldn't have been found if he didn't brag to everybody that he did it. See, he went out and running his mouth, and that's how they found him. They arrested him.
Well, no, it's not. Well, yeah, he kind of did brag, but he actually had the victim's car.
But he had the car, but he also bragged about it.
Yeah, I know. Yes. Because one of the cousins asked, or one of the family members asked about where he got the vehicle from, because now you're talking to somebody that never had money, never had a vehicle, right?
Exactly.
But I understand that.
So that's one thing. But here's the other thing. When was the first thing I said? I have no problem with it being as an aggravating factor. See, I didn't say he can write whatever he wants to do, and he could have done. They did 40 pages. Most of what they got the aggravated for the death penalty was stuff that had nothing to do with this case. 99.9 of it had nothing to do with the case. I understand the mentality from rap. Hey, don't use it against them, but they didn't use that to convict him. They used it to aggravate to get him the death penalty. So I think a lot of these rappers and all these people are saying, "Hey, this is the case. You're using a bad test case." This guy, they didn't use it to convict him. They used it to say he shouldn't be on this earth anymore because he shot 2 people. That's a difference.
Yeah, but do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely. 100%. Because if you put yourself out there, just like anything else, unfortunately, doesn't, like, for example, if you go to a theater and you yell fire, okay, or you hear guns and people scatter out and someone gets hurt, you did it. You did it.
Right.
I, in a sense, do not think that they should have used it to convict him to put him on death row. I think he should. And well, I don't agree with the death penalty, anyways, but necessarily. But I think they could have given him life in prison, even with the rap lyrics.
No. It's not even.
But it's where you're doing the crime.
He should have got death because he went on video on the jail.
It doesn't matter if he went on video. We're talking about the lyrics itself. I don't think they should have used the lyrics. For the myself.
No. This is different things.
Why you hold on, Apex. Go ahead, Tasha. You saying it's not true? Why?
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think they used just the lyrics to get him to do the death row or to die. Well, I think it was yeah, but when you do sentencing, the judge looks at the case as a whole. She's not just looking at the lyrics, she's looking at how flagrant you are when you know are how remorseful, how the impact statements of the victims. She's looking at a combination of things.
Yeah, you know, you and I always we like this law. Well, most of us like this law stuff, right? But most states are different because the jury has the opportunity to give you life sentence or death. In this case, it's actually the jury that gave him the death penalty. It was
right because the judge allowed the lyrics in
by what they decided. But once again, I don't necessarily know if the rap lyrics should have been used to convict him for the death penalty, because I think he would have probably got the death penalty regardless without the rap lyrics.
You're correct.
But both parties, the prosecution and the defense, have to agree on the jury instructions, which instructs the jury on what should be used and what should not be used, and then once they come up with their verdict and they say, okay, this is the verdict, then the judge lays that out. So I don't think I see what you're saying about the rap lyrics shouldn't have been used, but both of the parties agree on that before it's even sent to the jury.
And I actually agree with Uno that says, hey, he should have got it without it. Should have been used. I think it should be used because of his other actions. So here's the thing. In a normal situation, if he didn't do all the other nonsense, didn't talk to this person, didn't do this interview, didn't go on TV, didn't do all this other stuff, then I would have said, no, I don't think it should have been used. But if you put yourself out in the open light and you walk into, he didn't say this stuff in it wasn't like Sterling.
Let me ask you this then. I'm sorry. Let me ask you this because I know they used 40 pages of the rap lyrics, and I did not get to see what the rap lyrics was on this one. But if you, let's say that is just rap lyrics that's talking about crime in general, not that he killed anybody. Let's say it's just crime in general. Do you think that they should still be able to use just a general crime, the rap lyrics that's just general crime? I could have went and I could have shot at somebody, but whatever. Do you think they should have been able to still use just the lyrics of a general crime to convict him? Because a lot of people, there's some people that's saying that if you're going to use his lyrics as evidence, then you have to have a direct connection to that crime before admitting the lyrics. So, and I don't know if the lyrics necessarily depicted the crime that he did to the
not in the penalty phase. Not in the penalty phase. See, I 100% understand what you're saying. See, they didn't use it in the trial. He was convicted of the murder. So
Yeah, he was
my,
convicted of murder, but then when they got to the penalty,
yes. So here's the thing.
so
I would 100% same thing. If everything was the same, he had nothing else but regular crimes in his lyrics. If he did everything the same way, yes, because he ran his mouth out there in public. He put himself out there. Like I was gonna say, if it was behind closed doors, like now I was gonna get to Sterling from the Clippers, he was behind closed doors. He said some stuff behind closed doors. People roasted him in public and said, take the team from him. He's behind closed doors. It's his own right. This dude went on TV, went out in the public, put himself out there, said, hey, I have nothing to hide. This is not the thing. This is not me. Once you put it out there, you put yourself subjected to everything you put out there. Unfortunately. So if he never went on TV, none of it, him killing people, none of the stuff from his lyrics should have been put in. But he did.
I agree with that. I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that part of it, because I think that, unfortunately, no, not really unfortunately, I'm glad that they're stupid criminals, honestly, because if
most of them are
criminals, they would not be in prison. I mean, there's a lot of people that still make mistakes, but there's some people like him that is just a dumb criminal, and I'm glad that they are dumb as hell. Because if they weren't as dumb as they are, they would not be caught. They would not be sitting in prison and stuff like that. But one of the things that it goes back to is, and I think they may, I think what it is that a lot of these people who are defending that his lyrics should not have convicted him in the penalty phase, because a lot of people is under the mindset it goes against free speech. And not necessarily, it might go against public safety, but it goes against the free speech, as well as it may, or public safety. I don't know. I know what side you all are on. So how do you feel when it comes to free speech? Do you think that?
Oh, no, I think he's been able to
free speech.
Oh, no. Like I said, again, in a normal situation, I think you could say whatever you want in the rap lyrics. You have a lot of stuff that, if you go back to the Tupac days and the Biggie days, you said a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, Pac said some crazy stuff. A third of it was true. The rest of it was false. Ask Faith Evans. We won't talk about that. That's the trend in TikTok now, right? There's a lot of stuff that was said. Who knows if it's true? Who knows if it's not?
What?
But
I don't even follow.
Liberty.
So what is this trend with Ask Faith Evans?
Okay, so again, I guess now on TikTok, I don't even have TikTok and I heard about it. So I guess they go back to way back 96, where Tupac released they went ahead and disrespected. It was good. Get money, they take money. So Pac went ahead and said,
yes, I remember.
That's why I fucked your bitch.
Back then. I didn't know it was a trend.
They keep on doing it, and they're like, oh, it's Faith Evans. Faith is all upset. This is what she's looking like. No, I think it's funny. I'm like, this is 30 years old. I mean, you got to understand, he said a lot of stuff about Biggie. I'm like, if you don't even know what diss tracks are these days. People want to think about diss tracks, but no, there's diss tracks. Pac said some ludicrous stuff, and that's why bullets were flying. I mean, he went too far. I won't want to get to who should they, Drake and Kendrick should know about what diss track is. That was life and death. These are games and making money now. But anyway, back to what it is. There's a lot of stuff you can say. You should be able to say what you want. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe you should be able to do. That's why I said people don't think I'm insane, because Sterling, that owned the Clippers, said all kind of stuff about black athletes, said all stuff about black people, and they took his team. And I'm against it. They should have never took his team. He was in his own home because he had a scorn lover that made a recording. You shouldn't lose your team because of that. I don't agree with that. I was mad at that piece.
You're saying no matter what at least if it does not reference a crime, you should be able to say it should not be used against you, basically.
If it's not a true crime. No, if I'm making fiction. No, if I go out and say, hey, I shot up the club with the AK-47.
But here's the thing. How can people tell if it's fiction or not? Because sometimes you could listen, sometimes you can actually and see, this is why people need to really stop with this social media stuff and stop trying to
do dumb stuff.
The biggest views and stuff like that when it comes to certain things, because it's kind of like a lot of these people go back, a lot of these detectives and stuff go back, and if you don't have your stuff private, they go back and they watch your videos because there's a lot of unsolved crimes out there, and you're
Exactly.
probably connected to it, and now you're on thing talking about I did this and I did that.
That's what I'm
I
talking
think it
about.
was so weird. Yeah, so for me, it's kind of like because we were watching a trial, Tasha, with Young Thug, where was it Young Thug that was watching where they wanted to use, they were trying to use his, he's one of the lucky ones, right? But they were trying to use his rap lyrics against him in trial, but ultimately he got off because they couldn't connect him to the crimes that happened. They only connected him to the car. So yeah, I guess I can see why he is in there saying that he does not believe. I mean, he might be the bad example.
Oh, but again, he's trying to say don't use stuff because I got caught up because of everybody else's bad apples. What I'm saying is there's certain things.
Well, he got
when
caught
I say
up.
It's
well,
fiction,
it's his fault that it's kind of like his fault that he got caught up because, and they were trying to associate him with a gang. But yeah, I can see why he is doing it to say do not use the rap lyrics because
absolutely
look what happened to me. So
exactly.
I understand that.
He's just trying to help him, but that has nothing. There's two different things. Two totally different things. They tied him to a lot of criminal things that were tied to the lyrics. They were direct ties to the lyrics that he was saying. And that's the thing. You have to, even though you're getting creative with your lyrics, you have to not put exactly the time of the crime. I was driving a blue car. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
not creative. No. But see, you're talking about documentation. See, these people are doing the crimes. What I'm saying that when you said, how do you know it's real? Again, if you say,
well, we don't necessarily know that they're doing the crimes. It's alleged that
no. What I'm saying when they're doing the crimes, if you say I was driving a blue car, got my AK-47 on First Street on Monday the 12th at 10 p.m. and then they find and you're fine. Yes, that's you're documenting your crimes. If you're saying, hey, like what Pop used to say, I'm gonna go shoot you up, I'll kill you dead. That's general.
I understand that, but let's flip it a little bit because who's to say that they actually did the crime? It could have been where they were in connection with somebody that did the crime. So
you know what?
It could have been.
It's not art anymore.
I don't necessarily listen. I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't know if I should say this on camera.
I don't think you should. Right. Just because you raise it, no. If you're
I'm gonna say it because I'm not a rapper or anything, right? But there's only a few people in my life. If they committed a crime and they told me, I will not tell. I am loyal to that person.
Absolutely.
I will not tell. So for me, I feel like if I was a rapper and you're loyal to somebody, and for instance, let's take Tasha B. If she came out there telling me that she committed a crime, and we're not going to use your family as the example, right? But let's say that she committed a crime, and I necessarily will not call the police on her. I will not do none of that. I won't tell anybody. And if I was a rapper and I wanted to put in my rap lyrics, that doesn't necessarily mean that I committed it. But why should I get punished? Should I get punished for that?
Here's the thing, but
as well.
If it's aiding and abetting, if it's one of the things about our state system that if you're protecting someone after a crime, you're covering up after a crime. Again,
I'm not going
here's
there.
the consequence.
I'm not covering
here's the
up
thing
anything.
I'm going to tell you.
I'm not. Hold on. I would. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm not covering up anything. I'm just not telling. Like I'm not the one. If she end up shooting and killing somebody, I'm not going out there to clean up no scene. I'm not a character in Scandal. I'm not none of that. So my thing is, you can tell me what you did. But I'm not going to be the one to go to the police officer because
absolutely. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you an example, and this is back in the day. So back in the day, we're going back. Everyone knows about OJ. Okay, right?
Yes, love OJ.
Okay, so OJ. So there's a couple things about OJ, but I'm telling you about OJ. At the time that they released, at the time of what they were describing, you have to be over 6 foot. You have to be black. You have to be able to run this fast. Your hand size have to be this other stuff. Okay, all the descriptions of what they needed, I met all those descriptions, okay? If I was then, let's say for whatever reason, I was a friend of OJ, and OJ told me he did all that stuff. Even though I'm not it, and I go ahead and go and say something, and I go make a rap, hey, I go ahead and slice the throat and did all this other stuff. It wasn't me. I didn't say it was OJ. But if I meet the description, if I'm actually parallel to that, I brought myself into that, I may be convicted of the crime because I rapped about it. I should be, because you are aiding and abetting after the fact.
No, I don't think so. See, and that's why you can't. Don't ever put me on a jury. Don't ever, Tasha B, off off camera, but don't ever put me on a jury at
She's
all.
changing clothes.
Because honestly, if you and this is a thing where me and your mate always get into a controversy, Apex, because I tell her I am the worst person to put on a jury, honestly, because if you think I'm going to convict somebody I will not convict somebody based off of hearsay. I will not convict somebody based off of just because you fit the description. I will not do it.
No, it's a preponderance of evidence. Oh no, I see. Do I agree with? Here's my thing.
You're not aiding and abetting just because you rap about it does not mean
no. It's not because you rap about it.
Hold on.
But if you,
I'm just saying with the OJ thing. But even if you or her came to me and said, "Hey, I did this," aiding and abetting is somebody like, "Oh, can I come to your house and hide out?" Hell no, you can't. You can't come here. You can go to a hotel, but you ain't coming to my house. But I still ain't gonna tell. That's aiding and abetting if you invite them into your house.
I understand that. Here's the funny thing about the OJ thing. Here's about the funny thing about the OJ thing. Do I think he should have got out? Absolutely. He did it, but why did he get out? Because I believe in the legal system. Because they conspired against him. They planted evidence. They did all that stuff. They went ahead and do so. Because of the legal system, he got off, or he should have got off, and he should have been left alone.
Let's go back to let's go back. And I understand we covered it, but once again, should certain things be used against you
absolutely,
especially when it comes to music?
I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's written word, as Tasha said. And as I said, unfortunately, especially in this day and age, everything's been used because you have all of it. Now, what I don't believe in is fabricated stuff, or again, if you violate privilege, if you violate the stuff, like I said, I go back to the Sterling thing about the Clippers.
Yeah.
They invaded his home. It's because you have a scoring level. Someone recorded this stuff and then puts out another.
You're saying whatever. If it's out there in public, if you put
yourself in public,
hold on. If you put it out there yourself in public, it's fair game.
Absolutely,
I can agree with that.
Now, if he never told anybody, if he ran a rap song, it was in his own home. There was nothing there. They go through and say, "Oh, we found some." No, that's his own personal stuff. But if he's out here like he did, he put it out.
Well, who's to say? Well, okay. Well, who's to say? Well, see, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm trying to see how.
If it was done as a rap, not done as written down, that writing your hey, I went ahead and murdered somebody, but if it's there as a song,
would you hold the same? Okay, so let's say, and this is a crazy question. Might be a crazy question. Might be even a dumb question. I don't know, but they all say no dumb questions are never. You don't. Whatever.
They're all dumb questions.
Here's the thing. Who's to say? What if somebody wrote the lyrics for him and he did not necessarily did the crime? Should he be punished for rapping a lyrics that somebody else wrote who actually committed
punished
the crime?
By itself?
Or how do you know if he committed the crime or not?
No. By itself, no. Again, I don't think it should ever be used.
I'm just saying, we know this man committed the crime because he was on the news saying that he didn't care.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I don't think you should be able to pull, for example, if it was Pac was still alive, pull Pac stuff, and it said I shut up this thing and everything else just by the lyrics. No, the lyrics are not going to do it. If in essence, like I said, in this day and age, people either have the TikTok or they're bragging about it. They say, I literally was downtown at the club. I shut up the club with my boys. They're on New Year's with my AK, and you find AK bullets with his fingerprints on it. They see him walking into the club. You convicted yourself. But no, if I have a rap song and it says I get it from somebody, and it just like you said, someone told me about it.
I think what did him in, this guy James Bordeaux in, or Broadnox in, Bordeaux. What did him in is that interview that he had with the news, because when I watched that clip, that mofo was callous.
That's what I saw.
You know, there's a difference between thugs and goons. That man was a goon.
He didn't care.
No, it's beyond that.
He did not care.
He did not care. And then what happened was during the penalty phase, they were trying to say, "Oh, save his life. He can do something." No. You have, like I said,
who's to say that he can't do something now?
But yeah, I understand that.
I mean,
but you should have known.
He had all this time in prison, so he could have turned around.
No, you should have known that when you got arrested. When you got arrested for the crime after running your mouth.
No, because here's the thing. It's kind of like and I can't remember the one who started the Crips, I think the Tukey Williams or something like that, because after he got out, he started mentor children. I'm not saying that this man should get out, but I'm just saying that who's to say that if his life is spared right now, it's a possibility that he may be able to do the same thing where he's trying to tell these young children, don't follow in the same footsteps that I did. Rapper now, don't follow in the same footsteps. So he still have the opportunity to, well, for those who are religious, if he's already repent, he's going to heaven either way. So who's to say that he don't have that opportunity now?
And I'm not judging. That's why I don't believe in. That's why I don't believe in necessarily the death penalty is a different piece. I'm glad I don't have to be there. But if we're doing by the law, I'm going straight by the law. I'm not talking about if I believe in the death penalty, any of this. We're talking about what's the law in Texas and what we have. You went, you premeditated a crime, a capital crime. You shot someone in cold blood. We're not even talking about an accident. You shot them and they had $2. They didn't even have enough money to do it. You didn't even do anything. You did dumb stuff. And then compound stupidity. You then went out, ran your mouth, got caught, strike two.
Well, he would have gotten caught either way. Even
but again, not as quick. I understand.
He
probably would have got caught.
He had the vehicle.
Yes, strike two, but strike three was going on the news and being told, not only talking about it, being told about it.
I think that was really his detriment. Not even, the detriment that he killed somebody. But
yes, that was a nail in his coffin, and then the rap lyrics just put the icing on the cake. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think they should be used.
So how do you feel about the artist coming out saying that, speaking against him, his rap lyrics being used? Does it change your opinion about who they are as a people? Do you think that they should have gotten involved in a situation like this, even after knowing he came out saying that he did it in a callous way?
So I'll let Tosh go first. I've been running my mouth.
I just think
that's why I wanted you on here. I knew you have good opinions.
There's so many.
And listen, I was calling your wifey, but she like, oh yeah, you and him is the same. So, but go ahead, Tasha. How do you feel about the artists like Fat Joe, Killer Mike? And I respect them. I definitely respect them. But how do you feel about them getting involved in something like this when the guy has been so callous about how he killed these people?
Well, I think they are gearing up to protect themselves against crimes or things that they could have done, that DAs are looking back and looking in songs and stuff like that and trying to come after them in a new way. Look at the Diddy case. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the entertainment realm, Epstein, all this different stuff that they're like, oh my gosh, this may affect me. So let me get out in front of it and talk and try to stop this progression of how they're able to prosecute people.
Yeah, and on the same vein as this, I think it's the last piece there, prosecution of people. See, they're not coming out. Like I said, to me, I'm always about how clean the test case or the thing is, right? I think it's a bad case to step in, but they're stepping in because they know what this world and what people do. Okay. Once they come after one, they come after the other. That's why, again, once everything else, you started with R. Kelly, then it went to Bill Cosby, then you start to get people on this stuff. Now it's Diddy, now it's Epstein, now everybody, they're going to get, and again, even, I'm not saying these people didn't do the wrong stuff, but they know, they can see the writing on the wall. If we're saying that it's this, then it's that. I think they need to specifically say, and I don't know what Killer Mike's, I don't know specifically what these other people say, because I don't like to keep up specifically with everybody's comments, right? But that being said, I think they need to specifically say, I don't think it should be used in these other methods and these other forms and everything else. It's not about him in the penalty phase, because yes, he did it. We know he's done. However, we should not be going back to lyrics or other things from
they're trying 1980 to say that it's
and 1990.
Yeah, well, they're trying to say that it should be protected speech, freedom of speech, or something like
that.
No,
like I said, I think they're going. I think they're going extreme because they know if they don't, right? If they go where it's supposed to be, then it's going to be it's not, the bar is not going to be high enough. So they're going, everything's protected speech so that you can get the correct protected speech. That's what I believe they're doing.
Right. And once you get a case that has been decided and it has a penalty of this severe, they can use that as precedence in the other cases that are coming behind. So they can use that case, they can quote those cases in the reason why they're making the argument stick. So
I don't know. I think, well, if they, and honestly, if they want to use this particular thing, saying that the lyrics, it's gonna have to be written into law, and of course, it goes through a whole chain of commands as far as like if it's approved or not. So they still have an uphill battle regardless.
But it's just the point of making distraction.
So now here's the thing, because now this. What did you say?
They use this stuff for the distraction so they can get whatever they want through. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it still has to. Either way, I would like to see how it plays out in this case. So now that we know that this guy is going to be supposedly executed, and right now they have
42 days and counting.
Yeah, Young Thug, I think, has started where people can sign a petition. I would like to know. I don't want to know the names on the petition, but I would like to know how many people have actually signed it. But now, would you be okay if they halted his execution and commuted his sentence to life in prison versus execution?
I think you asked the parents, the family members, that particular question. However, if it's life in prison, it's life with zero parole. See, here's the thing. I don't want life in prison.
I'm cool with that. I mean, he been
so if it's life with zero parole, I don't care what happens. I don't care if another COVID happens. I don't care if you get that. It doesn't matter. You are in jail until the day that you die.
Well, that's how it is in Texas, anyways. In most states, I think that's how.
But there's always exceptions. There's exceptions, and I don't want to.
Not here in Texas. When you come to Texas and they tell you commit a crime. Let me tell you, in Texas, they have capital murder and then they have manslaughter or attempted. They give you either it's 5 to 99 years. You fall in between that range. But once you get convicted of capital murder, I don't know of a situation where they have given somebody a chance of parole. Capital murder in Texas mean that you're going to die in prison. Don't come here committing any crimes where you think you're going to get off scot-free. Texas is not
as long as that's the case.
Texas is Texas don't have. See, Texas is different than Florida because Florida have what they say 1, 2, 3 life or something like that. The third time you do something felony, that means that's it's life in prison. Not in Texas. Once you get charged and convicted of capital murder, that's it. You ain't coming. You ain't coming out. You gonna be in there in hospice.
Well, that's fine as long as that's the true deal, Holyfield.
Oh yeah, no, they're not going to give this man not after that whole interview that he did on the news. I highly doubt even if I don't his sentence.
Hey, Trump has been president a second time. Stuff happens. I need it guaranteed. That's all I got to say.
On this.
But I'm saying, I'm saying is that stuff has happened. People been spared. We have capital rioters that killed people that got off with 6 years and out of prison.
We don't necessarily. We're not touching that. We're not touching that.
I understand. I'm just telling you, as long as they can't get out, I'm okay with it.
There's a whole new thing. But
I understand.
Like I said, I would like to see how it plays out with this James Bradnick. Yeah, I don't know. It's NAX at the end of his name. Brodnick.
It's Brian.
That's how they pronounce it. I don't know.
I don't mind to stay.
He might be from Louisiana. His family might be.
I think he may. Hey, I don't mind if he stays. If they stay it, I don't mind if they end up doing it and then they come back later with some other ruling. You killed 2 people.
Yeah. So I'm gonna definitely follow it because I live here in Texas already. So I'm definitely gonna follow and see what happens and see
if you can pull the switch.
Successful. What happened?
You see if you can go in there and pull the switch.
I'm not going there because at one point when I was studying criminal justice, I actually wanted to be one of the people to execute at one point. I did. I wanted to.
You can't tell that by his face.
But here's the thing I thought about, and this is off topic, but here's the thing that
I did not know that.
I did. I wanted to be, but see, I think about it now and why I not even believe in the death penalty or not, but my thing is for people, I don't want to be the executioner of somebody else. I don't want to do it. I leave that up to God to make that final decision. because I always wonder and I think about it now even with this guy, if you're the person that's going to execute this man, how would God judge you? Even though you're doing a job, how would God judge you? Because thou shalt not kill is what they say in life, right? So that when I got more into my religion and stuff like that, and I've actually seen people die in front of me, and I was like, you know what? I can't do it. And that's what really made me change my mind about wanting to pull the lever, because at the end of the day, yes, you're doing a job, but you're still killing one of God's children, regardless of what they did.
Again,
so but yeah, so I'm going to follow and see what happens.
That's a tough one. Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough position, and that's something that you got to discuss. But again, what's the difference of that being a soldier on the front line protecting our country and killing people that's coming across the line, coming to try to kill you? I mean,
well, if somebody is trying to kill you, that is different. Now,
hold on. You got to understand. These two young boys got killed. They were trying to be killed. So who says this dude's not going to try to kill somebody?
If the family wants them to die, that's cool on the family. I'm just saying, if somebody if it was the other way around, okay. It's off topic a little bit, right? But I understand if the family wants them dead because they killed their loved one, that's up to the family. I can't judge that, because everybody.
I can't judge it either way.
Yeah, everybody has a right to feel how they want. Me, myself, I ain't doing it.
Oh no, I wouldn't do it either. Like I said, that's why I didn't do military either. I can't go grab a gun and front lines. No, I understand. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
If it came different, if they're on our soil,
it's crazy because we had the same thing, because somebody was trying to say, and this is on topic in a sense, but somebody was trying to say that no, his lyrics should not be used against him at one point, because I was talking to somebody else about it, and I was like, what is different between that and somebody's manifesto? When they go out there shooting up schools and they go shooting up government buildings and stuff like that, there's really no difference. Because just like how we can use their manifesto against them to get them convicted, then we should be able to do the same thing when it comes to rap lyrics.
Well, the manifesto, they usually don't put it ahead of time.
It is what it is. And I'm okay with people not agreeing with me. But what did you say?
Usually they don't put the manifestos out there and talk about it. But to your point, which is interesting.
No, I'm just saying, because they don't necessarily put the manifestos out there, right? But there have been situations where people have written something, went out there and committed a crime, and of course,
I agree. That's what happened in Nashville.
Somebody was like, but they were agreeing that we should use their because here's the thing. Even if you didn't do the mass shooting that you wanted to do, you still wrote it. You probably end up killing people, right? So, but that's the thing. Somebody was like, "Oh no, I don't think that they should use his rap lyrics in the conviction phase." Well, why not? Because it's no different than somebody writing a whole manifesto. Even in your journal, I don't even care if it's a manifesto. But let's say that you even wrote in a personal journal, and we go to your house and we discovered that, hey, you want to kill this person. Because I watch a lot of crime shows where women, men, and everything talk about how, oh, my mate is gonna kill me, and then all of a sudden the mate kills them, or I end up doing this, and they end up actually killing somebody and stuff. So I think the same thing as a journal or manifesto is no different than rap lyrics.
But you got to remember,
I like to see how it plays out when it comes to if they're gonna get him commuted or something.
But what happened was but then he got high. That's why I didn't get counted. Yeah. I'm sorry, bad jokes. But no, here's the thing.
You're good. You're good. Listen, that's another hot topic, because I see the trend. But anyways, we're wrapping up now because it's that time. And
we're wrapping up real quick. I think one thing which you said, and I think it's telling. So I actually think you have the answer to your question, and it is already there. If the manifesto can be counted, why not the lyrics?
I just throw out there what people tell me.
No, I understand, but that's what you said. That's your premise. You said it, and I think that's very telling.
Right.
Yeah. So now this is the end. So from today's conversation, what did you take away? Do you what is your takeaway from today's conversation?
Tosh, go ahead.
Hey, don't put nothing out you don't want to be counted against you, because they're coming for your lyrics. They're coming for your videos, and they're coming for your social media.
Yeah, that is true. What is your biggest takeaway, Apex?
Stay off of social media. Stop telling on yourselves. I think on another portion of recording is again that Renee was trying to get in and say, stop snitching on yourself. The biggest crimes are you're snitching on yourself. Stop telling on yourself. If you don't want
Right.
it to be found out, stop telling it. They'll tell you the first thing it is. If you don't want anything else, don't speak about it.
I never understood
Right.
why my takeaway, shut your damn mouth. I never listen. I love criminal justice. The one thing that criminal justice has taught me as an individual, shut the hell up. Get a lawyer. Get a
This
lawyer.
one?
Don't do all the extra talking. Shut up. But anyways, that is the end of the show. I really appreciate y'all for joining us. No, I mean, when you sit in front of a police officer,
Oh, okay.
I've been in front of police officers quite a few times in my
I don't know
life.
if that's even true. I was about to say, you talked about
Listen,
shutting
I've
up.
been
I
in
was
front
like,
of
you don't
police-
shut up.
Listen, ask your wifey. I've been in front of police officers quite a few times in my life, and when they ask me questions, I'm like, I have nothing to say.
And
got
I've
pulled
heard
over one
several
time by a
stories where you
police
say a
officer
whole
when
bunch
I
of
was in
stuff. So
Orlando.
like I said,
I got pulled over one
I've heard
time
both
by a
stories.
police officer when I was in Orlando. He like, well, is this your address? I'm like, I plead the fifth. And this was way before body cameras. I don't play with them because they try
I
to.
understand.
I don't care what race you are. They try to do a lot of stuff, and I respect police officers. I really do. But I know there's some police officers that are not as genuine as others. So I know how to shut my damn
Absolutely.
mouth when it comes to them. But anyways,
we're gonna end it. I still want to make sure anyone that knows you and watches this clip that they say, did you say that you shut your damn mouth? I think that's a lie.
Shut up. Look, I told my nephews and nieces when police ask you a question, shut the hell up. Don't make no comments. But anyways, that's the end of the show. I very much appreciate everybody for listening as well as watching. If you want to tune in to Off the Record Podcast, you can join us on Facebook at OTR Podcast Show USA, as well as IG, OTR Podcast Show USA. And then also we have a TikTok page, which is Off the Record _USA. And that does it for tonight. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.